So for Periphery 5, I think we went for slightly different sound than we've done before, just wanting to change things up a little bit. We've come to a new studio, which is sounding incredible, and I think is a huge part of what sets this set of samples apart from the other ones we've done. And in terms of the kit, it's kind of an evolution of the sound that we've created together, isn't it? I mean, how would you describe it?
Well, it's kind of like a rock kit, isn't it?
Yeah.
So for Periphery 5, the album, we decided to use a much, I guess, we were aiming for a bigger, more, I guess, dirty sound, for lack of better words.
Yeah, I guess like organic and something that's, a bit more earthy, a bit darker and a little bit more wild as well.
Yeah, bigger drums, lower tunings, bigger cymbals for the most part, drier cymbals for the most part. I know, we talked a lot about the sound and the performances and what we were going for. And I think we really captured it on the record. And by using the same exact drums and the same exact cymbals, the goal is to have captured that as well for the Periphery 5 sample library.
So during the recording session, we did switch out a few pieces. We kind of had 2 sets of crash cymbals, 3 for each. So you guys have access to both sets of cymbals there. We've used a different rack tom for some songs. We've got a 13 up as is on the kit now, but we also had a higher tune 12 that we swapped in sometimes when we wanted like a more toneful rack tom sound, and that's available to you as well. The actual sampling was done probably to one of the highest degrees we've ever done. Our process of sampling is something that we're always improving with GGD, and this is really up there, the pinnacle of what we've done. So there's a huge amount of dynamic range, and I'd say because of the fact that it's such a kind of warm and organic sounding space, and the cymbals are not ultra metal sounding, they're quite kind of traditional, dry, dark cymbals, and the drums, as you say, they're a bit more kind of rock, a bit more wild. This is actually a really versatile sample set. You could use this for all sorts of styles of music, especially if you kind of bring the velocities back. You could use it for all sorts of softer styles as well. So I think it's an amazing sounding and quite versatile library that we've captured.
Yeah, I'm excited too because we've definitely captured some new items in this session as well. So just a couple things to note. We use my signature snare drum from Pearl, which is actually even more unique just because we decided to throw in some bronze hoops. I don't know if you can see it here, I would assume so, but we threw in some bronze hoops for this session just to really take advantage of all the character that we could capture within this room. That is just a little bit more special, a little bit more different than sort of the stock version of it. We also got a chance to capture my signature crash ride, which has never been recorded before in this context, so we're really excited about that. It was definitely one of the main cymbals that we used across the whole album, and of course, it's a big feature of this library as well. And then something else that we did that's different was we did use the Evans UV2 coated heads on pretty much all of the drums, maybe except for the 12-inch tom when we subbed that in, which we used a Evans G2 Clear on. But the UV2 specifically, one, they're very easy to get in tune and to have them stay in tune, and two, the attack is just it's really evident and audible, and you can almost feel it in the hits. That's what I love about those heads. You get the low end of a nice big drum, but because of the head itself, you do get a ton of attack without really having to put too much force into it, without having to hit too hard. And I think that will translate to whatever mix that you ultimately are putting these drums within. I think that's the goal, and I hope we got that for everybody.
No, I've got no doubts about that. I think the toms have a very cool attack, as you say.
Yep.
And working in the same room as we did for this record and for this sampling, myself as an engineer, it was really cool because I was hearing the way the drums were activating the room the whole time, and a lot of my focus was on maximizing that, making sure that the drums had a bit more length and overtone to them so that it would just ring out and kind of excite the nodes of the room and find the perfect spots for the room mics. And I'm really pleased with how that sounds.
It's funny, we keep looking upward because the room is very, very tall.
Yeah.
It's, as you've sort of called it, it's like 3 ceiling level, or what was the term?
It's a triple height room.
Triple height room, yeah.
So most of the length of the sound that you're hearing off the reverb is from the vertical rather than the horizontal, which is really cool.
Yeah, and there's just so many different textures within this room. There's metal, there's wood, there's brick. It's got all these different really vibrant sounds, different types of each sort of textile as well. And I think that also adds to the uniqueness of this whole sound that we were able to capture here. So very excited about that. And yeah, the workflow was great. What was different about it was that, as you said, we were in the same exact room, and that's not standard for pretty much any other session we've ever done together. Typically, I'm in the live room recording the drums, and Nolly is in a control room that is usually further away, or at least through a number of doors separate from where I am. Certain things take longer. Nolly also doesn't get to hear the actual room sound in the room like I do when I'm hitting the drums. And that, of course, was very different on this session. We both were hearing the same exact thing in the same room at the same time, able to communicate seamlessly. There was no wait times between, him coming from the control room into the live room or vice versa. We're all here together. We didn't even have to use a talkback. We didn't use it once. So that was great in that sense. And I think it's something that we would strive to do again, just because of how much it made our lives easier. And ultimately, that ease translated into the final products that we have from this session.
I think it certainly inspired a bit more creativity, maybe to take a few more risks in terms of what we were doing sonically as well. I think that's cool. I think that gives a unique and powerful edge to this sound.
Yeah, all the time that we usually spend walking from room to room, we used to maybe do some things that we didn't normally do, and sometimes we achieved it, and other times we fell on our face, but it was worth a shot. So, So, really hope you like everything that you get to hear and use from this session. And until next time, enjoy P5, and we'll see you soon.